Good morrow, my friends. As you know, today is another video where I talk about another asymmetrical horror game on Roblox. I have been a little lazy with my video making because quite a few updates happened at a time and I wanted to get my fair taste of them. And I also, well, this was the original order. I was going to make a video on Pwned, and then I was going to make a video on Outcome Memories, and then I was going to make a video on Die of Death. But that changed because I'm a lazy bastard. So I decided that I'm going to make a video on Outcome Memories. The reason I'm talking about Outcome Memories first is because it's the one I've been playing the most as of recent. And there are quite a few things I need to talk about. So, my overall view of Outcome Memories is it is a fascinating game. This alpha release is awesome. I love all of the things that it's brought to the asymmetrical playing field. I think that this game is spectacular. And of course, you would obviously expect the game to have a few flaws when an alpha releases. You'd expect bugs, you'd expect, maybe some balancing issues. I did notice more cons than I expected to notice, but we're going to talk about that today. So normally I just put little bullet points in a little note of mine so I can talk about some mainly important topics that I want to talk about, and then there's some lesser ones that I'll talk about later on. But for Outcome Memories, I made a pros and cons list. Never done that before. I don't know if I did a different method for it because it was an alpha release and I just kind of wanted to jot down everything I've seen, but this was the first time that I ever made a pros and cons list. Now, what I'm going to preface with is no, the cons do not outweigh the pros. I do not think this is a bad game whatsoever. I love the game. It's just there are some things that I want to talk about that this video might be a little long. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. If you don't know anything about Outcome Memories, it's basically a new asymmetrical horror that is based around these Sonic horror characters going against their regular Sonic protagonists. So right now, the only killer in the game is 2011X, and then the survivors in the game are Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, Cream, Amy, and Metal Sonic. So, the goal of the game is to survive the timer and outwit the killer, and eventually a ring will spawn in the map, or rings if you're on You Can't Run, and you have to escape via the rings. It's basically the same way Sonic.exe The Disaster played out, because that was also what you had to do in that game. And the game is really fun. Every character has their own unique abilities. There's a lot of small details that I find very admirable. And yeah, I just want to get into them. So I think I'm going to start with the pros, and then we'll talk about the cons, because the cons, it's going to be a little bit of talking. So yeah, we'll be going around that as we go. So, the pros. I think that the map designs are really good. The maps are very well detailed. There is a lot of subtle details in each map that you can tell there was a lot of thought and passion put into them. And I really like that. Each map, in terms of detailing and scenery, really awesome. They all capture their own individual vibe. The music is spectacular. If we were putting like songs in an S tier, I would put it in SS. The music is amazing. I love the emote music. I love the in-game music. I love the Last Man Standing music. The music is beautiful with this game. It captures the tone of every situation perfectly, and it is just great. The Last Man Standing, again, great stuff. I love that each character has their own unique Last Man Standing. Like, they all get their own individual spotlights. That's really awesome. I love that. The Endgame Screens as well are very awesome. If you kill everybody as 2011X, then he's standing on a mountain of their corpses. And if you win as survivors, then it shows all the little TVs with their respectful icons on them, and it'll say whether you escaped or not. If you died, then a spike goes through it, which is, again, really cool. I love the way they did the Endgame screen. If you also escape as a survivor, then it's also got a little subtle Dead by Daylight reference with your character running on the side of the screen, kind of like the Dead by Daylight end screen. So, again, really appreciate the attentions to detail there. The voice acting is well done. There's not a lot of voice acting in-game yet. There's only Sonic says one line, Eggman talks a little bit, and 2011X obviously talks a lot. There's also the shopkeeper voice acting. So, I do like the voice acting's route so far. It's pretty good. And I really like 2011X's voice acting. Whoever voiced him did a great job at capturing his personality. I love that. Eggman, I do like Eggman's voice. there's just one line in particular that he says that confuses me. He says, "Get a load of this is so boring. How about you failing instead?" I know he's talking about his catchphrase, but what does that mean? Am I dumb? I'm not even saying that rhetorically. Like, am I dumb? Do I not get what he's saying? I don't know. If someone knows what that catchphrase means, please let me know, because I'm, like, confused on what I'm missing. But aside from that, I do love the voice acting for all of the characters. This sounds pretty good. The shopkeeper has a very monotone, soft voice that also gives a little bit of an ominous feel to it, which I like. And, you know, I already complimented 2011X. Can't say much about Sonic because he has one line. He just goes, "I'm out of here!" And then that's it. But, still good. The animations. I really like the animations. Animations for both sides. 2011X has some pretty good animations. I love all the characters' animations. They just, you know, are really good. There's not much I can say about it. I just really like the animations. Same for the emotes. I love the emotes. I love Eggman's emote in particular. It's so funny. It's like my favorite. So I really like the animations. I love the shop. I, again, enjoy the custom shopkeeper. And I like that you get to customize your fits instead of it just being skins. It reminded me of the Stalker. Because if you remember that game's cosmetic panel, then it was like all these hats that you got to put on your unit and you got to make your own fits with it. It wasn't just skins, so I like that. It reminded me of the Stalker, and I like that you just get to make whatever fits you want. It's not just a skin. You get to do whatever fit you want, so that is honestly very fun for me. I like making my own little fits on Eggman. I think the lobby is appealing to the eye. I enjoy its overall gloomy appearance, as well as the display screen showing the killer chance in the next map. I'm pretty sure they were going for a Song.exe The Disaster reference with that one, because they did the same thing for their lobby. But if they weren't, it's still cool, and I like it a lot. But if they were referencing that, that's also an awesome reference. There's a tombstone for Song.exe The Disaster in there as well, so I feel like it might be a reference. But I also appreciate them showing some love for that game, because it's very sad that Song.exe The Disaster got taken down. But yeah, that's like my handful of pros for this game. I think that overall the design, the animations, the voice acting work, the music, all that stuff is very spectacular, and it's just really fun. But there are some cons that I do want to talk about. These are, again, normally when I'm ever talking about the cons of a game, it's never anything major. I'm never like having major cons with a game or a major grudge. There's just always some small cons. There is a bit of one big one that I have to talk about, but we're going to save that for the end because it might be a bit of a discussion. But first, I just want to talk about some cons. So, I feel like the maps being big can be a bit annoying for the killer, because if your abilities are on cooldown and you're not finding anybody, you're probably not going to find anybody. 2011X's only ability where he can just directly find people is God's Trickery. Invisibility is kind of useless because it's more of a proxy thing when it comes to finding people. So you kind of have to rely on God's Trickery with finding people, because a lot of the maps are really big. So it's kind of hard finding people at times. I feel like the maps being big is mainly a thing on Eggman's map, and You Can't Run. I apologize for not remembering the names, but you know what maps I'm talking about. I feel like on those in particular, they're very big, and it's hard to find people when you're not relying on your abilities. Not perfect. I think the map design for Not Perfect is nice, but the map hazards are excruciating.
Dude, this map. I swear. Let me heal you with my.
I don't like what they're. I kind of like what they're doing.
Oh, that's evil, dude. What?
I don't really see why that map hazard got added. I'm not against map hazards, but this was a pretty sour introduction to them. I don't like them at all. Especially with the game being very fast-paced. That makes the springs very, very annoying. Take Eggman, for example. I'm an Eggman main. When I'm using Jetpack Boost on Not Perfect, I'm ready to run into a spring and fling off the map. You know? It's not very fun. I don't mind that being a hazard in some parts of the map, but I'm telling you, these bouncy buttholes are literally everywhere. So, you know, you're spending more time dodging those than you are dodging the killer. So, yeah. I know this map is due to get redone, but until then, I did want to talk about my gripes with it, because I know that I'm going to have to deal with it for a little longer. So, yeah, Not Perfect. I'm not a big fan of you, only because of your map hazard. Aside from that, music for the map is really good, and the map design is nice. I like a colorful map in a scary environment, because you know that there's something wrong. God's Trickery. So I have a few things to say about this ability, and first I'm going to talk about it from a survivor perspective. So, if you've read up on God's Trickery in the game, you can see that it is an ability from a survivor side where you got to pay attention to the color of the hallucination, and that will allow you to know how to react. So, it says, blue, stand still. Distorted color, stand still. Orange, keep moving. And black is jump. Now, I have never seen a blue highlight. I've seen a red one. And the red one is apparently meant to be blue, because when I stand still for the red one, I don't get hit. Now, I don't know why he has a red highlight, because it is faintly close to the orange highlight, so I'm barely having any reaction time to tell the difference between the two. I got lucky that I'm starting to understand the difference, but I don't know why it's red. I understand that 2011X already is blue because of his fur, but I would assume that the highlight would be a lighter blue, so it's easier to notice. Because, I don't know, that's very strange to me. And then for the distorted color one, it's also weird because the hallucination starts out as black for a split second, and then it becomes the distorted color. And the reason that's annoying is because when I'm seeing it, I'm jumping, and then it becomes the distorted color mid-jump, so I get hit. So, those two colors in particular are very annoying when it comes to countering them, because it's so hard to tell that they're the colors they're meant to be. Like, I don't know why it also just randomly goes to distorted color. We go to blue, we go to orange, we go to black, and then distorted color. I would have just picked yellow or green or something. I also wouldn't have two colors that function the same way. I feel as that's also weird. I guess it's to kind of help trick you so that it's not super easy to learn against, but I don't know. I just find it strange that it switches like that, and there's two that have the same function. I find it very odd. You can't run. So, this map is the only map that has multiple rings, and maybe I'm just dumb, but this map has like a Fortnite Storm type dealio, where if you don't make it to a certain ring in time, you just get encompassed by this storm that pretty much drains your health extremely quickly. And I also feel like the storm spawns kind of fast, so you don't get a lot of reaction time to it, especially with, you know, being a beginner, so you probably won't know what the hell you're doing. So, it just always confused me. There's like multiple rings, and I struggle to find their locations, even with it, you know, having that green arrow. I don't know. It's just like very strange that it has multiple rings and then it has that storm.
Well,
Oh, he's dead.
The exit is this way.
He's dead.
You can.
The shop. So the shop, you can only enter when intermission begins. You can obviously enter it when you're like in the lobby and there's a match going, but when you get out of the match, you can only enter the shop in the lobby when the intermission hits 25 seconds. And that's really not enough time to shop at all. And if you're still in the shop when the match is starting, you don't get to play. You also don't know the match is starting because you can't see the intermission timer while you're in the shop. So you just have to hope that whatever you're wanting to do, you can get done in time before the match begins. And if not, then get ready to wait 4 to 5 minutes before you can do anything. So that is kind of strange. I feel like you should just get automatically taken out of the shop, or there should at least be an intermission timer displayed in the shop so you know that the match is about to begin and you can leave the shop in time. Because that's kind of strange. I don't really know why they did that. I think that's kind of lame. Because again, 25 seconds is nowhere near enough time to be able to shop for anything. There's an info category for 2011X in the shop as well. But for finding the information on the survivors, you have to go to an external Google Doc. I don't really know why they did that, because I feel like it should have been pretty easy to put survivors' information in the same spots. Because if 2011X can have it, then I think survivors can. Like, it's probably just an easy copy and paste template. And for the survivors just having their own doc feels really weird. I wanted to learn about Amy in particular, and I still haven't peeped the document to this day. But it's just like, why is it a document? Just add the info thing in the game. That's kind of odd. VIP servers. For whatever reason, VIP servers don't grant rings, even though there's not like a VIP panel or anything. The owner of the VIP server cannot change how the game plays at all. So I don't really know why you don't get rings in VIPs, especially because, you know, the game has a lot of full servers because it's a good game and it has a lot of concurrent players. So a friend group might be wanting to play all together, but they might not want to go in a private server because they don't get cash. So, if there was an admin panel, I'd understand it, but there's not. So, I don't see why VIPs can't give you cash. And then my final little con is right-click removing the shift lock is annoying. Please stop that. I don't like that right-click removes my shift lock because I have a temptation to click it quite a few times, and I don't like losing my shift lock because it's very beneficial for me in my chases because it's kind of the Dead by Daylight camera angle. So, as a DBD player, it's very helpful for me. And to see it, you know, constantly, you know, get wiped off bothers me. I don't like it. Please make right-click not do that. Alright, now that we've gotten past the pros and cons, I have a confession to make. Sit down, this is gonna get emotional. As of right now, I don't like playing killer. A little gust of wind just blew on my nose and I stopped in place! Oh, and you already have your punch back! You already have... Oh! God! Can you die? I'm a mama. How am I supposed to hit people? You love to see it. You love to see it. I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to Jesus, Harold Christ, hand on the fucking Bible. Right now, I just don't have fun in my killer matches. I really try to give it a chance. I really try to have fun, and I just can't. Before I get into this category thoroughly, I'm just going to talk about the overall experiences I have with my matches. So first of all, every survivor besides one has a stun ability, so that's already bound to be quite annoying. I don't like when Metal Sonic flies across the map and holds me in place for a good 10 seconds, and then Sonic comes in and decides to add to that timer, and then everybody else can just come in with their own unique stun gimmick and kind of keep that going. That's pretty painful to deal with. Very painful to deal with, actually. And I understand that, you know, yes, I gotta tank a few stuns to get my rage up, but I don't like sitting in a corner getting beaten to death and I have nothing I can do about it. I'm supposed to be a god! I'm supposed to be a god! This isn't what happens to gods! But anyways, I just don't have fun playing killer. I really try to give it my all and I try to have fun and I just can't. And I've kind of pieced together some things that are my personal opinion for 2011X. So I wanted to make a category dedicated to him. If you don't agree, that's fine. I'm just kind of going off of what I believe right now, and maybe I'm playing him wrong. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but nobody has bothered to counter-argument me during my VC rants when I have a bad killer match. So, I want to talk about 2011X. Invisibility. I feel like invisibility is a bit unreliable. It's not really a map-wide info ability, it's more of a proximity one. And from what I've seen, the range isn't really that large. So you kind of have to be relatively close to somebody to see their highlight. And considering all the maps are quite large, that normally doesn't happen. It just kind of defeats the purpose of even using invisibility, because you're not really going to get any info out of it unless there happens to be someone next to you. And when you exit invisibility, if you actually see somebody and you get the number prompt to teleport to them, you do a little cutscene animation before you actually start moving. Now, I was told that you get stun immunity during that, which is nice, but I'd rather be able to hit somebody with the element of surprise instead of having stun immunity and doing a little cutscene where, like, he appears. Because I feel like the cutscene just kind of throws off the element of surprise that the ability could have. And Charge, I feel like can be unreliable as well. If you're using it for mobility, okay, yes, it can be good then. If you're actually using it for what its main purpose is, which I'm pretty sure is to, you know, grab somebody with it, it also just feels unreliable. Because you can quickly get stunned out of it, and you obviously will, because when 2011X has gotten somebody with the charge ability, everybody can see it. So it feels more like it's an ability that's vital to last man standing, because then the person themselves actually has to wiggle out of it, instead of somebody being able to come over and stun you out of it. It has a passive health drain, but it's really not even a major health drain. You probably couldn't even tell that your health got, like, nicked down if you got hit by the charge. So, they'll get healed anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And the grab for charge. This isn't me talking about my bad killer experience. This is a bug that I've noticed happen with charge, so I guess this is also a survivor-sided thing that I just want to mention. You can abuse this ability in a different way. Number one, if you're on You Can't Run, you can put somebody in a pipe. And they can't get out. They get soft locked in that pipe. Number two, if you're on Not Perfect, you can just drop people off of the map with you. And I know this because it happened to me. And obviously, it wouldn't affect doing that to you because you're invincible. As for them, they lose like 50 health each time they fall off the map. So you really shouldn't be able to abuse the ability like that. That's insane. That's from a survivor perspective. But I just didn't mention that earlier, so I wanted to mention it now. God's Trickery. So God's Trickery is really the only decent ability I think 2011X has, and it's really not even because of the hallucination. It's just because you teleport directly to someone's location. It's pretty much what I would use as a substitute for invisibility, because instead of, you know, potentially getting info and seeing where people are, I'll just teleport straight to somebody instead. Because it really just kind of feels like invisibility is useless. Like, yeah, again, it has that stun immunity, but it just doesn't feel like you're going to get much out of that anyways, because it's not like someone's main instinct when you've teleported out of nowhere is going to be to immediately stun you. They're going to, like, try to get some distance and then work to use their ability strategically. I don't think it'll just be like an immediate instinct where they pop the ability immediately. So the stun immunity doesn't really help you at all. And as the game goes on with the hallucinations, people will kind of get used to the hallucinations, and God's Trickery will pretty much just be a teleport ability. It won't be nothing more, because people will easily adjust to the color-coordinated counters. I know that that's kind of the point, but I feel like the blue and distorted color should have different functions. It should have 4 different functions on how you react to it, because why are 2 like you stand still? I feel like there should be like, maybe there should be one where you have to look at it. Maybe? Like it appears and you have to look at it? Something like that. I don't know. Just not 2 colors having the same ability. That feels kind of odd. But yeah, I think God's Trickery is probably right now like his only decent ability. Rage. I find Rage to be a very oddball ability, especially with it being the one you get after getting stunned multiple times. Considering that the game has no stun immunity, you're kind of relying on Rage to make up for what could possibly be 2 straight minutes of soft locking from the survivors. You don't have stun immunity during Rage, but the timer is decreased to a pretty good amount when it comes to getting stunned. The timer also gets paused. You do more damage, and you get info on survivor locations when you pop it. I don't really count Rage as an info ability because it's a one-time use, so I don't really see it as an info ability. I also got told that you have to hit survivors to continue getting more info. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, that's like a little odd, I guess. I'm not saying that you should be able to see everybody during it the whole time, but that's just kind of a weird way to gain info. I feel like it should just be like a over periodic time thing, because it's like 2 minutes. But yeah, that's just right now my stance on 2011X. And again, if you don't agree, that's fine, because in conclusion, I just don't have fun playing Killer all that much. I've given it chances and I've tried to enjoy it, but it's honestly just really hard for me when a lot of the survivors have stun abilities and you kind of can just get swarmed, and it feels like that kind of throws you off from being able to enjoy the game. I legit was wanting a disable killer chance due to my killer experiences. It's just like, I don't have that much fun, and I don't hate it, and I'm not bashing the game at all. I don't want it to come off like I'm bashing the game, because I genuinely love this game. Like, I have a lot of fun playing it. Just, my killer matches are a different story. But in the end, I still love the game. It's just, I really hope that 2011X can be more fun to play for me, because if you agree with what I said, then you agree. If you disagree, you disagree. Maybe I'm not playing him right. I don't know. I mean, I've like played quite a few matches, and I feel like with what I've seen, people have some pretty relatable killer experiences to me. It's just like a lot of stunning. I feel like stun immunity would just be all they need to change that, because having that brief moment where you can actually, you know, get some fight in, and they can't just rely on swarming you all at once with their abilities, you need to get that kind of pressure advantage. Rage is, yes, a good way to get a pressure advantage, but I feel like also just having stun immunity and people can't just like wait their turn to hit you with their ability, that's another good way to have pressure. Because it feels like the survivors have way more pressure on the killer. And that just like kind of sucks. But I don't know. I just really hope that stun immunity gets added because I feel like that would be one of the main things to change how I feel about the gameplay. Because I just don't like getting knocked around so much. It's just really like annoying because I don't really get to enjoy my experience. At the end of the day, I really do like this game. Like, compared to any other asymmetrical horror game, I really do like Outcome Memories. I like how different it feels. It's like about time that I felt a different way when playing an asymmetrical horror game. I like the infinite stamina. I like the urgency to help your teammates, how each character is vital to another character. So, like, a lot of teamwork kind of goes into play there. So I really like that. It's just, I really feel like stun immunity would be like one thing in particular that could change my overall view on killer gameplay. And that's like really it. Like seriously, I feel like stun immunity would change my killer enjoyment entirely. I know that the game just came out, and that's why I don't want to bash it too much, because I know that the game is still in alpha, and they are working to make the experience as enjoyable as possible. And I am, again, just really glad to see that this game is out. So, Saab, Ross, all the other people on the dev team, I'm sorry I don't know your names. I just remember Saab and Ross because they worked with me on Damnation. Glad you guys got this game out. Congratulations, and I can't wait to see, you know, what you guys have to offer for the future. Genuinely. Love you all. And, yeah. If you haven't played Outcome Memories yet, what are you doing? Go play it. See ya.
Yeah, I was fucking.
Here, let's go help him.
Okay.
So much
He's here! Ah! Stay away